Okay, viewers, we just got finished with an incredibly emotionally draining but largely satisfying series in WandaVision. I think it's time to cleanse our palate a little bit here with some good old fashioned 80s detective duo comedy fun. That's where The Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes in. You see, the first time I saw this trailer drop for this series, I immediately connected back to the early to mid 80s Eddie Murphy kind of, Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, another 48 Hours kind of movie franchises. And that's a really good thing because those movies were largely really well done in terms of writing, intensity, and of course, comedy. This series has a lot of potential to actually be incredibly entertaining. I don't know how much it's going to actually add to the various MCU storylines. I don't think it's going to be as, let's say, story arc important as WandaVision was, but it might be because it does have at least one question that it seems it's going to, if not completely answer, give us an important answer for. And that is, who is going to be the next Captain America? Now, I have my own humble opinion here in terms of who I think the three most likely candidates are going to be, and I'm going to talk about those today here in our pre-watch video and give a couple of pros and cons for each one, and then I'll settle on my choice that I think is actually going to be the next Captain America. So let's jump into this with the first candidate. And our first candidate is, well, the one that Steve Rogers picked himself, Sam Wilson, the Falcon. In a recent interview with Chris Evans in Variety, he actually reiterated why he thought that Sam, or Anthony Mackie's character, is the best choice to pick up the mantle for Captain America. Evans said, Sam has proven his loyalty, his courage, and reliability over multiple films. He's given so much, and he's also lost a lot too. He believes in something bigger than himself, and that type of humility is necessary to carry the shield. I think actually Evans is onto something here in terms of the humility part and believing in something bigger than yourself. I think that is a really important part of Captain America's ethos, right? His way of being. Now, right off the bat, in terms of the pros for Sam, I mean, he was picked by Steve Rogers. Who am I to tell Captain America who should be Captain America? But at the same time, he's also seen combat himself. So Sam understands what it means to have to send people into combat. He understands the gravity of that decision, which I think is important. At the same time, he also has a dynamic enough personality to be able to hold the viewer's gaze on the screen, right? I think Evans, one of the things that he did really well was he really leaned into the character, right? He played up who we wanted Captain America to be. And I do think that Sam can also do that as well. Now, in terms of the cons, I'm actually going to throw a really high compliment at Anthony Mackie here as a con. Marvel really lucked out when they cast Mackie to be the Falcon here. Prior to the MCU, I was never a big Falcon fan, to be honest with you. I always thought he was, in the comics, fairly underutilized, and I never thought his storylines were really all that compelling. But Anthony Mackie was able to step into this role and really make it his own, make it into something that I continually enjoyed seeing on film, and that I found to be a compelling character that I think you could even do more with, to be honest with you. So the con here is that from a business perspective almost, if you're Marvel, I wouldn't give the shield to Mackie or to the Falcon because you don't need to develop Mackie's character or Sam any more than you already did. I find him to be compelling, and I think you should just do more with that character. Additionally, Sam, of course, is not super. He's not a super soldier in any way. So you'd have to find some way, in addition, I think, to the technology to make him able to hold his own with other, super entities or superheroes, super beings, that kind of a thing. Candidate number 2 is Jame Buchanan Barnes. Bucky to his friends, the Winter Soldier to his enemies. In terms of the pros for giving the shield to Bucky, to me, the biggest pro is the story arc potential here, right? I think he makes the most logical sense, actually, in terms of building a meaningful story around it. There's a redemption story here that still needs to be told for Bucky, right? He still very much carries around with him guilt for what he did. And many people in the world carry around a large sense of guilt for things that they've done. So you can create quite a wonderful tale here where Bucky is able to become a symbol for redemption, become a symbol for people who need to find forgiveness for things that they've done. And I think that that story arc could actually be really powerful for the MCU and for Marvel in general. Bucky has also seen combat, of course, from World War II, so he also will know the gravity of sending others into battle. And at the same time, he was also tortured just about as badly as anyone can be. So he'll have a certain opinion, let's say, on how far we should be willing to go to torture others in order to get information. And even that is a compelling story arc for a potential future, MCU moment. Finally, he's also a super soldier, right? I mean, he can already hold his own against, most superheroes to a degree, at least on par with what Steve Rogers was able to do. Now, in terms of the cons, although I think the MCU could certainly survive without any more Winter Soldier storyline, I think that storyline has actually moved pretty well through the MCU thus far. So if you ended that storyline with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think everyone would still feel pretty good about how it progressed all the way through. And that would seem to indicate that it would be kind of a good move to transition Bucky into Captain America. But I'm not the biggest Sebastian Stan acting fan. I think it was actually Mackie who brought the best out of Stan's acting, more so than even Chris Evans. And I'm just not sure he has the dynamics on the screen to be able to pull off Captain America. He did fine as Winter Soldier, and he seems like he's comfortable from the trailers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. But I'm not sure he could actually pull off holding our attention the way Captain America needs to do today. Now, as for my third candidate, it's someone that I have heard mentioned here and there, but I'm a bit surprised that more people aren't really considering this option, and that's Sharon Carter. Now, I'll always concede that there are people who know much more than I do about the vast Marvel history, right? So I had to do a little bit of research and digging here to find out if there even had been a female Captain America. And what I found was actually pretty interesting. Here's what we know about this. Marvel already came out and said that they were interested in going a different route with the casting for Captain America. And it's not as if it's never happened before, right? In a future universe in Marvel, you have Danielle Cage, who is the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. So you do have some precedents here for a female Captain America. And I mean, I'm not endorsing Danielle Cage as a bona fide candidate for right now, although tell me if you don't think that would be interesting, right? To have Danielle Cage step in as Captain America and be able to bridge that gap between the Netflix series and the MCU series. I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. I don't think they're going to go that route right now, though, because I think it would be too sticky of a situation. I don't think they'd be prepped to be able to handle all of that information right now. Anyway, my point is that Marvel has already broached this topic in terms of having a female Captain America, so it's not as if Sharon Carter would be really a bombshell. Additionally, Frank Grillo, in an interview with Larry King, talked about how he had heard rumors that Marvel was thinking about going with a female or African American for the role of Captain America. So the idea, again, is out there still. So let's talk about the pros here for Sharon Carter. I mean, there's a legacy here, right? She's Peggy Carter's niece. She's related to Steve Rogers. Thank God for Star Wars, or this would have been even weirder than it already is. Carter is a trained agent who can absolutely hold her own in combat, which is, I think, important, again, from all three candidates being able to fight. And she's clearly intelligent as well and well trained, so she'd be able to deal with the strategy that's necessary in terms of leading Avengers into battle. She also has a similar story to Steve Rogers in that she clearly believes in fighting for what she believes is right? I mean, she's on the lam essentially for breaking ranks with the intelligence agency and saying, I think this is actually right, so I'm going to fight for that cause. In terms of the cons, well, she's not a super soldier, right? Similar to Sam. However, I think it's easy for us to see a storyline where she could have easy access to the super serum, right? Probably somewhere in Aunt Peggy's junk drawer in the kitchen, she's got she's got Steve Rogers' super serum there or something. So she could probably have access to it. And we know that super serum plays a role in this series because in one of the trailers, Sam talks about how the bad guys are fighting with brute force. They're too strong, which means that the super serum is out there somewhere. So ostensibly, you could give this to Sharon as well, or Sam even, if you wanted to make them super on the level that Captain America was. So, of the three candidates, who do I think is going to get the mantle at the end of this? I mean, I think it's going to be Sharon Carter. That's who I think. I think all of the signs leading up to this we're trying to get us ready for the idea that we're going to get a female lead in Captain America. And honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm good. I think the storyline connects really well here between that legacy of Peggy, Steve, and then Sharon. I think it fits really well, honestly. So you can do a lot with that storyline in the future, I think, as well, right? Because she carries that legacy with her. So my final thoughts here moving into Falcon and the Winter Soldier are incredibly positive. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what I need right now, is this buddy cop kind of 80s feel series. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I am excited to see where they go with the question of Captain America as well, who they're going to go with. So if you're interested in coming along with me on this Watch Companion series, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all that good stuff, and let me know in the comments below what you think about your excitements, right? What are you excited about for the series? What are you maybe concerned about? And who do you think is going to be the next Captain America? I'm really curious. I'd like to know what you think.